Welcome to BunniPhish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as BunniPhish on Ravelry, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Today is Sunday, the 10th of February, 2019, and this is episode 30. Grab some sticks and string and come sit with me. How have you guys been? It's been just over a week. I should have recorded yesterday. I was going to record yesterday because my kids are with their father for the weekend. And yesterday I had the whole day with no obligations versus today where I have to drive a round trip of somewhere between 5 and 6 hours. Um, but it was my only day off this whole month of life. So I decided to just stay in my bed and do a lot of crafting. I hope you guys forgive me. The lighting was much better yesterday. So it's not great today, but we'll make do, right? It's gonna make everything a little fuzzy, I think. I'm sorry about that. Someday, studio lights could be a thing. They're just not a thing right now. Anyway, I have had a very, very, very busy week. Life-wise, I don't frequently have things on my agenda every single day, and this week I did. And then to throw off everything, we had a day off of school again on Wednesday, which really bummed me out because my best friend and I were going to go to the zoo. They had a special program with animals who mate for life. And so there was going to be a tour and they were going to give the penguins decorated, they probably did it anyway, decorated pebbles to share with their um, monogamy partners. So we were going to go to that, but the reason school was canceled was because we had a huge ice storm come through, and I could have driven my kids to the zoo, like a half hour, 45 minutes away, except the roads were icy and it wasn't going to be a thing. So I missed that, and that was really unfortunate because that was going to be like my fun thing during the week of hectic. So instead, an ice storm. It was fine. My son went and played with a neighborhood friend. My daughter hung out on her tablet and stuff, and I stayed in bed and read and knit and hung out with my daughter a little and hung out with my son a little, but I just threw off everything. That was not how my Wednesday was supposed to go. Um, and this week is also going to be pretty busy. So I just decided to stay in bed all day and not record. Yeah. So how's your week? Let me know down below. There is no administrative news for the group right now. So let's talk about my kind of finished object this week. Last week I showed you the Tritine, which is a design by me, and I was knitting it out of Nooch fiber in the Sport Weight Tribeca Sport in the Deep Sea Diver colorway, which is a one-off colorway that they did forever ago. And I did finish the hat, but
I finished this hat yesterday. It's the Tritine, it's my design, but it is too small, which I thought might happen. I'm using a DK Heavy Sport to make it, and so I had to play with numbers, and my numbers were not correct. So I will be ripping and reknitting this. Remember the Tritine that I was working on that I had to frog? Well, I did go with the mohair, but I'm going to frog it again. And I went up needle sizes. I don't own a size 9, which I think is what I need to go up to. So I'm going to work it on a size 7, but I'm going to increase by probably 9 or so stitches, I think, on the first round.
so I don't actually have anything finished this week because I frogged the hat. And I did end up going ahead and adding in the mohair strand. It's kind of a mess because I had to frog. Well, I frogged the initial time, and then I had to frog again because it was too tight. I am working on US size 7 needles, but um, the mohair makes it less stretchy. So even though I went up a lot of needle sizes, I did work the original on 3s and 4s, and this I did the brim on 4 and the body is on 7. So even though I went up all of those sizes, I didn't account for the mohair not being stretchy, and I got probably halfway up the body and tried it on, and no good. So this time I ripped back to the brim because the brim fit fine, and I have added a bunch of stitches. I don't remember what I was doing. I think I did knit 4 increase and then, all the way around, but I don't remember for sure. Um, and I'm also going to modify the cables. So there's a cable panel and it's an 8-stitch cable, 4/4. I think I'm going to modify the cable because that's where it was getting tight, is that 4/4 cross. So I think I'm going to modify the cable just a little tiny bit when I get there so it'll be stretchier. So hopefully try number 3 will work and I will be able to get this hat to my aunt. I would like to be able to drop it off to my mom sometime this week. I think I should be able to. I have a lot of sitting and knitting coming up. I have a doctor's appointment that's been rescheduled. This time I think is the 5th time it's been scheduled, which is really, really frustrating. I just need to get into the doctor. And all of the rescheduling has been them. None of it has been me. In fact, I walked in for my appointment on Friday and they were like, it was an hour and a half after they opened that I got there. And they were like, we're already 2 hours behind. How are you already 2 hours behind? You haven't even been open that long. And you're scheduled with the wrong doctor in the practice. So can we reschedule you for Monday? Yeah, fine. It wasn't on Friday, it was on Thursday. Not that it really matters to you. So that was frustrating, but Monday I'll be going back there. So I'll be sitting and knitting there. And then later this week, the kids have a they have their award ceremony at school, so that's a long time of just sitting on bleachers. So hopefully the hat will get finished then. But then there's no school on Friday or on Monday, so that's a lot of time where I don't have to go to work, I don't have to take the kids to school, so maybe next week it'll be done. Who knows? Hopefully soon. I would like try number 3 to work out. The mohair yarn that I'm using is Peyton's Croy, no, not Croy, Peyton's Lace mohair. I don't remember exactly what it's called. I don't even know if you can still buy it in stores. Honestly, I don't know. My sister bought this for me um, pretty much right after I started knitting, maybe a year. I think Mara was 9 months old when she got this for me. Um, so I've had this for a really, really long time. It was part of a different project. I don't have a lot of use for lace yarn. Um, because I don't wear shawls and I don't wear lace weight sweaters, so I don't have a ton of use for lace weight yarn, and I'm just hoping that this project eats up some of this mohair skein, and then I'll probably take the rest of the mohair skein to school for the kids to use in their crafting, because honestly, I don't really care if it gets used in a nice way or thrown out or taken home and lost or whatever. My actual finished objects are not, real finished objects. They are samples for Joanne. Um, so coming in May and June, yes, I'm making May and June samples right now. Um, but then I won't be making samples again for a couple months, which will be nice. Um, so here is a crocheted moss stitch, which I've never done before. Really, really quick to work up. And I really like this colorway of yarn. It's called Coney Island. It's Lion Brand, Thick and Quick, and all of the squares are Lion Brand Thick and Quick. So this is called the Jute Stitch, and this is Bubble Stitch. And I really, really like the way the bubble stitch turned out. Like, I like the texture of the actual square itself, and it worked up really, really fast and easily. This is totally going to be a stitch pattern I use in a hat coming up, or a cowl or something. because it was really, really enjoyable, really easy, and high impact for the amount of work that you have to do. Um, oh yeah, if I hold it sideways, you can see how those stick out. So those are really cool. And I also made a crocheted granny triangle banner. Ba-ba-ba-ba. I am not a huge fan of the colors that are the palette for the next coming months. I think it's really, really dark. There was the option of a gold, but my Joanne didn't have that color in. But they're really, yeah, I don't know. They're not exciting for me, but I feel disappointed when samples aren't more exciting because people want to do classes because they see exciting samples. So this is the square or the triangle banner. And I do have 3 more samples to go, but one of them is almost finished. It's a pillow cover, and the cover itself is made. I just have to seam up the sides and put the pillow form in. And then one is something I've been putting off because it's crocheted cables, and they're not, it's not hard. It's just not my favorite thing to do. So that's why it's like last. And then I just have to do a little sample with a buttonhole. So that shouldn't take very long at all. And hopefully next week I will be all finished with my samples so that I can show you other exciting things. And by other exciting things, I mean knit on projects I really want to knit on instead of art obligation. So let me show you what I have made progress on this week. All 3 of these are new projects to you. I didn't have them started last week. I think I started them all the day after I recorded. So first up, I have a half object. It is the Effervescent Sock by Lisa K. Ross, who is Paper Daisy Creations. And it is a sort of lacy, um, a lace effect pattern. I am going to the ZK this year, which I'm super excited about because I haven't been there in such a long time. My heat just kicked on. I hope that isn't too loud for you. I haven't been in such a long time. I'm super excited to go, and they started a knit along. I think the knit along versus teams has been going on for a while, but it wasn't a thing that happened during the ZKs that I attended. So I am on a team. It is, you can look it up on Instagram with hashtag ZK Team Beach. That's my team. And it's the knit along is to knit, spin, and crochet as much yardage as you can in the 5.5 months leading up to the ZK, or whenever they close the thread. It might just be 5 months. I don't know because I haven't participated in previous years. And for January and February, there is a challenge, and the challenge is to twin with somebody. And you can twin with lots of people. I am twinning on this pattern with AK47 on Ravelry. She has a podcast. I've watched it a few times. I don't remember what the podcast is called or what her name is, but I am twinning with her, and I was not on my list of February projects to do. This was not one of them. I figured I was probably going to do a self-striping project this month. It was on my radar, it just wasn't picked out. And then she listed in the group several patterns she was thinking of twinning, and this was one that I thought worked really well with this yarn, which is Cascade Heritage Prints in the color 37. So I think, well, this will definitely be done this week too, because between the hat and this, I'm probably going to switch back and forth because working with the mohair yarn hurts my hands. So between the hat this project. Both of them should be done in the next week. So, and in addition to the ZK knit along that I'm doing, I am also taking part in the Bling Your String Crafty Bingo. And the way that works is you can join anytime throughout the year, and Erin from Bling Your String will make you a bingo board, and it has a free space and then 24 spaces that you make goals to try to accomplish throughout the year. And one of my goals is to knit 5 non-vanilla, non-cookie A patterned socks. So this fits the bill, and I was like, well, I guess that's fine. I'll do that. Specifically, that square says non-cookie A because I also have a square to do 3 or 5 cookie A patterns because a bajillion years ago, Holly gifted me Knit Sock Love, and I have knit a handful of patterns out of there, but it has a ton of patterns. And I really like Cookie A's designs. They make me think um, in a good way. So I wanted to do those and get back to knitting Cookie A patterns just a little bit this year. Anyway, this sock is to the heel flap, and you can see that I'm working on 2 9-inch circular needles. I don't usually do that when I get to the heel. When I get to the heel, I usually just work the entire thing on the single 9-inch circular. However, I have been trying recently knitting the leg on size 1s and then knitting the heel, foot, and toe on size 0s or on my bamboo size ones because my tension is tighter on the bamboo than on the metal, because I don't want my socks to wear out that quickly. And I find that my gauge is fine on a size 1, but it's a little bit looser than I would like it to be. So that's why I'm knitting this heel flap portion on the bamboo size ones instead of the metal size ones. Um, but historically, I've not done that. I've not used 2 9-inch circulars. I just smoosh all of the stitches on one 9-inch circular. I've never had a problem dropping stitches or finding it difficult to tell the difference between my heel flap stitches and the rest of my stitches, or my fish lips kiss stitches versus the rest of my stitches. I don't find that, working up to almost 100 stitches on a circular is a problem. I've used, my circular needles to knit to knit, what is this? Knee highs. To knit knee highs. I don't know why that's a problem for me to remember. I had a problem with that last week too. Um, yeah, so I don't find it difficult to just work on one for all of the parts of the sock except the toe, because you have to do decreases, and um, I usually revert to 2 9-inch circulars or put it on DPNs, or one 9-inch circular and a couple of DPNs, or magic loop or something for the toes. But because I want the heel flap to be sturdier, I don't want it to be on the looser needle. I am enjoying the pattern, so let's talk about the pattern for a second. The pattern is very clearly written. It comes in a variety of size options. I think I think there's 4 different stitch counts. I'm doing the second size, which is 64, so I think it's probably 56, 64, that standard 72, 80, whatever, 72, 80. I don't know. Don't quote me on the sizes. If you have a question and it's not on the design page, I will let you know which sizes, just get stitch counts, but I won't tell you any other information. But it does have all of those sizes listed. The heel flap and gusset stitch explanation is really good. I didn't look at the toe information because I just used my standard toe because that's what fits and works out well for me. But gusset information, heel turn, heel flap, all that is really well written. And the pattern is really, really memorizable. So on Monday, 2 days before the ice storm, the weather was so nice comparatively to what we had been having that I walked to work. It's only a 20-minute walk. So I took this first sock with me, and I was not very far into it. I I may have been. I'm pretty sure I was still in the first pattern repeat. So I kind of forced myself to memorize the pattern so that I could not have to keep referencing my phone as I was walking. But it was really, really easy to do. The pattern is super intuitive, and the chart is really, really nice. It's charted and written also. I'm really enjoying this pattern. So I have the Socks of Wonka collection. So I foresee at least one more of those making it into my 5 pattern socks of the year. Maybe I'll make the whole collection though, because again, for the ZK in the knit along, you get a designer bonus for designers who will be in the showcase, and Lisa is going to be in the showcase. So I might make all 4 of them. I don't know. I'll let you know as I make them, of course. Um, but yeah, obviously, I'm enjoying it since I'm knitting along on the podcast. I did not get a chance to record using stitch markers for counting um, your knitting, but I am doing that technique while I'm talking to you so that I can, knit and not have to worry about counting rows. I will try to record both a how to do it flat and how to do it in the round video, because the technique is the same with just a little tweak for both. And I will try to have them for you by the end of the month. I would like to say next week, but I don't know if that's realistic um, with the days off of school and stuff that's going on this coming week. But I will try to get that for you because there was some interest. Um, it's on my radar. I will do it. I will write it on my to-do list this week because it's Sunday, and if you enjoy big personality, I highly recommend watching Hooked by Happenstance, and she does something called a Sunday Sunrise, which theoretically every week she makes a list of things to do for the week, and then she checks in with you with what she was supposed to do the week before, how that went, and makes a new list. So I really, really like it, and I stole the idea. So I make my lists on Sundays. I will add that video to my list, and maybe I will get to it. I shouldn't have agreed to, or I shouldn't have offered to have it done by this video last week because I knew that I had a whole bunch of stuff coming up. So I'm working on a couple other things also. I have a cookie A-sock on the needles because I want to get 5 of them done. This yarn is Knit Picks Hawthorn. Oh, here's the Nooch fiber tag in a totally random bag. So you can see it's the old. They're not on Etsy anymore. It's an old tag, but there's Nooch. Nooch is named after the cat Neutron. And this yarn is, I don't have the tag for it. It's Knit Picks Hawthorn. It is in a burgundy color. I don't remember the colorway. If I think about it, I'll put it in the show notes, but I can't promise that I will think about it. And where is my sock? I dropped it on my lap. So I am not very far in it because, again, I have to think about Cookie A socks. I have a couple dropped stitches. Oops. Did I say these are the in and out socks? I don't know what I've said. It's not very far, but that stitch marker means nothing. I just put it there so I would have it with this project. Um, it's not very far. I was planning on working on this a lot, and then the effervescent socks came up, but once these are finished, I will work super hard to get these accomplished. And then the other project that I have been working on pretty diligently is a design project that I am designing using yarn from Cattails yarn. Is that right? I don't have a ball band in here. Oh, I do. I have a ball band tucked in the center. of my main color. So yes, here is the ball band, theoretically, if I can get it to work with me. Cattails. She has, so she has named the bases. This is the soft sock, superwash merino nylon, and this is the black Aja colorway. I have a set of her yarns, the Aja collection of colors that are based on the Ajas in the Wheel of Time. So I'm using one full skein of the black, which is gorgeous. It has all the other colors in it. I love this. I would make everything out of this colorway. And then there is gray, yellow, white, green, red, brown, and blue. And I don't know if I'm ready to show you the design because I'm back and forth on whether I really, really like it or only kind of like it. I think what I need to do is take what I have on the needles and block it. So I have this much on the needles. Um, and it's going to be a scarfy, wrappy thingy that is going to take a full skein of the black and then 20-gram minis of all of the colors. I'm liking it so far, but I'm not positive about it. So I think I'm going to block this today, actually, while I'm driving, because that's a thing I like to do, and decide if I like the way it's coming out or if I need to redesign the whole concept. But the design that I have right now, I'm really, really enjoying the knitting of. It's super potato chippy. It's really, really fun. I really like the concept. I just, I really need to block it to see if I'm going to like how it turns out finished. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'll do that today so that I can make a decision. And next week you'll know if I continued on with that or if I frogged. And it's in my Girl Cave bag, which she doesn't make anymore. I love it. And the in and out socks were in this bag that you can no longer see. Once upon a time had the logo from the Yarnivore podcast on it. And Effervescent is in this ZK bag again, which is from Silver Shed USA. Is that all I have to talk about? No, one more thing. I want to talk about I want to do modular check-in. I haven't done that in a really long time, and we are going to do barn raising squares because look at how many I've made in, the 6 months or whatever since the last time I showed you. So my barn raising squares are knit on US size 2 needles if I'm using fingering weight. And I'm using a baby blanket pattern. It's linked on Ravelry. And I increase up to 30 stitches a side and then bind off in black so that I can seam them up that way. And I started seaming last month. My goal is to seam 4 squares to the blanket every month. Totally doable because that's only 1 square a week if you break it down that way. I usually just sit down and do the 4 at a time because it doesn't take very long. But that means by the end of the year, I'll have 40-ish squares all together and my blanket will have actually started. So this is Cattails yarn. It's on a sparkly base. I don't remember most of the colorways of the yarns, but I do remember the dyers for a lot of them. So this is 716, and I'm pretty sure this is the Girl Makes Godot Look Punctual. I'm pretty sure. I designed the Ridgeback socks out of this. I made a pair of fingerless mitts out of this, the ones that Tanya designed. This is Marathon sock, I want to say. I knit whatever this is, or no, this isn't, it might be, I can't remember. I either knit this yarn to make a pair of socks like 6 years ago, or I held it double with a different yarn to make a hat. I don't remember for sure. This was a yarn scrap that someone gave me. I want to say it was a net. Not sure. This is leftovers of a Knit Picks Felici that I used to make a test knit sock last year. This is Daisy Knits, and I used this yarn to knit the first sample of the, why can't I remember my own pattern name? Cresting mitts. This was that. This is another Knit Picks Felici. The first one was, I want to say it's called Madrigal, something like that. And this is Gummy Bears. And I used that to make another test knit, I think, or just, I used both Knit Picks. I used one skein of both of those Knit Picks yarns to make a pair of shorty self-striping socks. This is Knitter's Nightmare in the colorway that she used for to raise money for animal shelters. I think, I'm pretty sure Haley gifted it to me. I don't remember the colorway name. I used this to make Ridgeback socks. This is Premier Serenity sock that I made Mara the socks out of that I showed you last week. This was dyed by the Cyborgs Craft Room. I made a pair of cresting mitts out of this forever ago. And then the yarn has just been sitting there because it was too pretty to like knit into something. And I didn't know if I wanted to use it as part of something else or just use it in scrappy projects. I think scrappy projects is the best because then it'll be there forever. This is 716 Knit. This was a club yarn and I designed Under Armour out of this yarn. Last up is a DK weight square, which is Leading Men Fiber Arts in, it's either Mother Earth or Earth Mother, and I can never remember which way it is, which I knit a sample for them for their booth forever ago for a Megan Williams pattern. And then I also used it as the stripe color in the signature stripe hat. And maybe one other project. I don't remember. Oh, there is one other thing that I've been making this week. So in the ZK thread, knit along thread, that one, there is a flash challenge going on, and it's just from the beginning of February to Valentine's Day. The challenge is to make banners and hearts because they have a garland going. Again, a thing that started after I attended. So that's all new and exciting, and I have made a bunch of those. And that is all I have for you this week. So I hope you made something fantastic with your sticks and string. Make sure to comment below and or join the discussion on Ravelry or find me on Instagram because I love to hear from you guys so much. And I will see you next week. Bye.